Hello, 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 hello. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Um, I've been on there earlier this month because we had asked the expert. So I'm Dr. G, and welcome to Empowerment Movement. It's been a bit since we did this program, and for those who are tuning in for the first time, I am blessed to be here to kind of talk with you once a month and just share some of the things that I've been thinking about, pondering on, praying about. I'm a woman of faith, so the journey of walking with families that have who are caregivers is something that is near, dear, and dear to my heart because I am also a caregiver. And I'm blessed to be able to be here and be a part of this amazing organization called My Goal. My goal is to support families facing autism and other intellectual disabilities throughout our lifespan. And since 2008, we've come alongside families, we've come alongside siblings and individuals to empower, to provide resources, to connect. Why is it necessary? Is because day in and day out, as our loved ones grow, they need our support, and we need tools that we offer and use to support them in their growth and development to be sharpened. And every day, as I learn something new, whether it is something that applies to my own family, I want to make sure I share that with you. But beyond just that, I also want to be able to share words of encouragement. The past 2 years, for those who are very close to me, know that it's been rather an interesting journey because we are transitioning into a phase of life where, for me anyway, where my kids are now adults. Whoa, they're their own independent. They're developing their own lifestyle and the things that are important to them. And as a mother, I get an opportunity to come alongside of them and making sure that what is important to them is the things that we focus on, and making sure that they live a meaningful life. So that transition, I have to admit, has not been easy because you have to know when to back off, when to stay on target, when to be around, when to be far off. But I think as a parent, you never stop being a parent. And I remember some friends who are ahead of me used to say that, and now I believe it with all my heart that you never stop. Now it's even harder because you just have to know when to give advice and call it an advice, right? And then when you also know to say, you know what, the route you may be taking might take you a lot longer. So a journey of 40 days could turn into 40 years. And we don't really want that for our kids. Thankfully, we've been blessed that we're in a community of faith. So we have a lot of friends and families that join us and come by. And so I am so super excited that, each and every one of us can walk this journey with people who support us, who encourage us, and who are always with us. And so I am so happy that we can be a part of a faith community. So if you're out there and you're looking for a faith community, I invite you to be part of mine. We are Agape House of Worship Family of Churches. Our main headquarters is in Roselle, New Jersey, and where actually we have a special needs ministry because we recognize that every single person who desires to worship their God should have a community of faith where they can express themselves and serve. And thankfully, our leader, our apostle, Jude really saw the value in making home for every single person to have a voice. So we are able to come along and support each person. Now, this is not part of my script, but I thought I would share that because oftentimes people feel isolated and then don't feel like they have a place to be. But I am so grateful that we have a community of faith and friends and family. And tonight I just saw one of my team members one of our team members who prays along with me for our families. Join us in the Zoom room. Thank you so much, Mr. Cheryl, for coming in. I am so grateful for
God
you.
bless.
I'm so grateful for you. And then I know there are friends that are watching us online. Thank you so much. Anytime you remember us, please pray for us. Many of us are walking a journey where day by day we have to be the advocates, we have to be the voice for our loved one. My son Nicholas needs us to be his voice all the time, and making sure that the things that he needs and supports and resources that are available to him, we make sure that it's, front and center in the minds of every single person who's part of his team. So I am so grateful that I have a whole community of faith, community of friends and family and board members and volunteers who join with me to say, let's stand in a gap. Let's stand and advocate. Let's stand and be an intercessor for all these families and individuals so that they are also living their best life in this world that they live in. So I share that to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I am on here tonight, and I just wanted to just talk about a book that I have been meditating on. And when I say meditating, reflecting, praying through, and it's really called, some people say Habakkuk. I say Habakkuk. I'm studying this book because it has a couple of scriptures in there that really empowers me. One of them is Habakkuk 2, verse 2, Habakkuk chapter 2, 2 to 3, and then chapter 3, verse 17 and 19. I was talking to a friend on the other day on Monday, and she mentioned, and I was like, you know what, let me go back and reread that because, and then that might be the topic of conversation tonight. And so if you're watching me later, do know that you can share this with others if you find what I'm sharing encourages and empowers. And that's really why I'm here, is to really just share what are the things what is empowering me to keep going, keep pressing, keep this smile on my face. Because at the end of the day, there is always the source of our life, the creator, the one that created us. He's the one that gives us that enablement to keep going. And so, hello, Pat. Welcome, welcome, welcome inside the Zoom room. So I was talking about the book of Habakkuk. It's in the it's the whole covenant, Old Testament. And I just love this prophet as he wrote this book. And he really, the book is a reflection on the prophet's conversation with God, because the time period that he was living in, evil was very pervasive. So he went crying to God and asked questions of the why. And I was talking to a parent the other day, and she just says, it just seems like every time I make one step forward with my child, all of a sudden it seems like I'm going back two steps. Why? And I had to say to her that some things just like this prophet had to find out, some things we don't have a full answer for on this side of eternity. And remember, there is an eternity, and we all want to be in the better part of eternity. So as parents and as caregivers, we often ask the questions about the growth and development delays in our children. And the fact that sometimes the people we entrust, teachers, therapists. Some are really amazing and great, direct support professionals, caregivers. There are people that we entrust who are really wonderful, but there's some people who are suspect, they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they even give us a hard time for asking them to do their job, right? And so we look around and we're like, what's going on? It seems like sometimes evil and injustice seems to have the upper hand in our world, right? So like Habakkuk, we may feel angry or discouraged as we see these terrible things happening all around us and as it unfolds, and you hear about children being abused and hurt, and they're nonverbal, so they can't speak for themselves. And so you're asking, why would these things happen? So this prophet was vigorously complaining to God. And because he was looking at his nation, the nation of Judah, and its desperate situation, and was asking the questions. So if you read the whole chapter 1, he's talking about all these things that are happening. And then in chapter 2, he says he goes and he stands at his watch post with an expectation for an answer. And I know there are people out here who are listening to me who are just like, there's some things that you just like pondering about, trying to look for what are the solutions? How am I going to get an answer to this thing? And so this man just stood on his watch and he said, I'm going to quote, he said, I climbed to my watchtower and stand at my guard post. So he was standing at a watchtower to just see what's coming in. And he said, there I wait to see what the Lord will says, and how he will answer my complaint, right? So some of us have had complaint. And so he waited and he got the reply. And it said that the Lord replied, then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. So expectation that God will speak, and he does. Um, there are things that I am been asking God for, whether it's in prayer or talking to friends, and the doors that open when you talk. If you know me, I wrote a few years ago a booklet that says 7 principles to developing and maintaining your passion. It's really a devotional. And one of the elements or the principles is sharing. It's really recognizing that whatever you're walking through, it's important to open your mouth and let people know these are the things you need. And I got to tell you, God will answer that request and he will use people to do it. And sometimes he'll speak and you just have like an answer. We call it in some of our Christian circle, we call it revelation. You get an insight, like all of a sudden you know what to do. I don't know if you've ever had that, where you just like, I just know what to do, right? So he said, the Lord replied to him and said, write this answer plainly on tablets, like meaning I write it very boldly so that a runner can run with the correct message to others. So God is going to tell you some answers to the question you have. He'll make it clear. He will use people. And he said he will give you the answer to the question. And that's what this prophet was getting, God saying to him. And this is the part of the scripture that I absolutely love. He says, the vision is for a future time. So the things that I'm revealing to you is for a future time. It describes the end and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place and it will not be delayed. In other words, so you may have the child that you've been working with and spending hours doing the ABA, doing different therapies, engaging them, pointing to that, and it just seems like it's taking so long for you to see a result. God is saying, it seems slow, but wait for it. It will come. Why should we say that? Because we have to hope. We have to believe that it will come. And so that's what God said to this prophet, right? So he said, it seems slow in coming, it's lingering. It might seem like it was lingering, but it will come. It will come. So I want to just encourage somebody there listening to me that something seems like it's delayed, but it will come. So because God works out things in his own perfect timing, we may be extremely impatient, but remember that he hates the oppression and violence and challenges even more than we do. And the things that may be happening around you that just seems like it's unfair. Why do you have to keep telling the district that you want the child to be included? Why do you have to push for the basics? Why? And God reminded Habakkuk to wait patiently and we are called to do the same. It doesn't mean that you should stop asking. Keep asking. Keep going to those meetings. If you need somebody to come along with you meeting, and by the way, side note, if you ever have to go to an IEP meeting, never, ever, 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 ever go by yourself. Bring your neighbor, bring a friend, bring somebody because you need that emotional support to feel like somebody else is around you. Okay, I'm going to divert for a minute because maybe that's going to be the topic for Ask the Expert next month. And the whole idea there is that when you go to these meetings that you have to talk to people, your goal there is to make sure they know that individual, that child is a human being like you and I. So what we say sometimes what we'll indicate to you is bring a picture if your loved one is not at the meeting. Get a picture frame, put it right there and have a seat, an empty seat, and put that picture on that table, reminding them that this is who we're talking about, right? And I used to go to one training and what they used to say was, what you can actually do is create name tags and put it for every single person at the table. Because at the end of the day, we all need to make sure we're connecting to each other one-on-one. So anyway, I divert for a minute, but I thought I should share that maybe somebody needs that. You're going to a meeting and you're just feeling very alone and you're going by yourself. Don't go by yourself. Ask a neighbor, ask a friend, just tell them to come and just sit there. They don't have to even say anything, but just the mere fact. And then make them be the one to write the notes, write the minutes for the meeting. Always have a, and then I will also say have an agenda. When you go to these meetings, say this is what I would like to discuss up front. So everybody walks in, they notice what it is. Then there's preparation. So I went to the side note because I think that there's some people who are very frustrated out there because they feel like, you know what, I am pushing, I'm pressing, and I'm overwhelmed. And so we need to remember that the patience is important, but more importantly, advocacy is important. So check back next month to our Ask the Expert topic. We'll be doing something around that topic. So continue on my topic today. The other segment in this book that I absolutely love is in chapter 3, verse 17 and 19. And it's really, 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 really one of my favorite parts. And it says something to the fact of, so Habakkuk 3, 17 to 19 says, though the fig tree does not blossom, and there is no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive tree fails, and the fields produce no fruit, no food, though the flock is cut off from the fold, and there's no cattle in the stalls, yet I will choose to rejoice in the Lord. I'll pause there for a minute. In other words, it may seem like things are absolutely hopeless. Things may not be seeming to go right 100%. Things seems like it's stalling. And interestingly, it's just only the 25th day of the month. And for some people already are facing some challenges right now. But this prophet said, I will choose. I would choose. It's a choice. I would choose. It's a mindset. It's a decision to say, I will not let this thing throw me off. I would choose to rejoice in God because I have breath. I would choose to shout in exultation in the victorious God of my salvation. So I know that there's somebody out there that you're struggling. So I just pray that you will experience joy and you'll have some breakthrough. I really want you to hear that because it's a lot. It can be overwhelming. You don't know where to turn, but that's why I said to you that you're not in it alone, and I need someone to hear that. Continuing on that text, it says, the hinds, it says, the Lord God is my strength. So you see the smile on your face, it doesn't mean that I'm not going through my challenges. Trust me. If I told you there were moments that I'm just like, so overwhelming because the things that healthcare needs and challenges that have come up that I'm just like, how do you even begin to navigate, right? But I go back to the source. It was just my source of courage, my invisible army. And that's what my God is. He has made my feet steady and sure like hinds, like a deer's feet, and makes me walk forward with spiritual confidence on my high places of challenge and responsibility. So there are some of us that have been tasked with this huge responsibility of being a caregiver. And I've always said this, one way or the other, at some point in life, we will always have responsibility to care for somebody, right? And sometimes in that process, for some people, it may be supporting their parent that has Alzheimer's or dementia, or somebody who's caring for their family member that had cancer. There's so many things that people have to stand strong for. And so today's text is saying to us, it may seem that you're the things all around you, but God is going to give you strength. He's your source of courage, and He makes your feet steady and sure, like the hind's feet. So the at this time period that this prophet was going through, there were so much devastation, and there was starvation. There was no food, and so it was easy to be like, okay, you know what? I don't have food, I don't have this, and I don't have that. But he decided, you know what? I'm going to keep my faith in God's ability to give me strength to pursue the things I need to do. Nothing seems to, sometimes it may seem like things are all around you. It's more than you can bear. But if you ever come by here to listen to me, I usually have the same kind of theme, right? Keep focused. You have strength in God. And I'm saying that because at the end of the day, where else are you going to have that strength? Where is it going to come from? Where else is it going to come from? We can all rely on people, but they can't be the source 100%. So I want to encourage you that take your eyes off of the difficulties and don't let that be your only focus, but look around you and see that God is sending angels. God will send angels around you. They will help you. They will empower you. They will encourage you. He will bring about what you need to remember is that he will bring about justice. And that's what for this prophet, God was saying, you know what? It may seem like there are all these evil things that are happening, but the end will come where things will change. And the ultimate victory over evil will happen. So the Habakkuk and like you and I, we may have questions about what the things that we're going through and how to navigate. And sometimes it just seems like just when you've gone over one hurdle, sometimes then something else pops up. But if you notice, you are still standing and you will continue to stand. Don't just don't throw in the towel, please. And if you hear me talk all the time, I'm here to remind you that don't grow weary in pursuing and looking for solutions to help your loved one. Look around you, look for opportunities. There are people who care about you. There are. If you're not sure of it, all you have to do is even walk into a hospital, go into an emergency room department, just say, I feel overwhelmed. And I believe they will have a social worker. They will have somebody that will speak. Go into a church, call us. My goal is this to support families. Reach out to us. We'll be a source of support to you. We'll direct you to where to go. Turn to someone who could be a blessing to you. So my point here to you is that we're here to remind you that there is a Savior that cares about you. And I want you to know that. And I also want you to know that we are here to make sure that you are reminded that you're not alone. There are people who have gone ahead of you who have faced challenges. There'll be people beside you who are going through it. And there'll be people behind you because we live in a fallen world. But there are also angels called people, therapists, doctors who are around who will also encourage you. So I share that because anytime I'm sitting here trying to wonder, okay, God, why am I doing this? Why do I do this? Then I am reminded that there are people who depend on what we do, and there are people who support us. And anytime I face a challenge, I am reminded that there's somebody else who has it 10 times worse than I am. And so I just need to be grateful for that. So I hope you've been blessed by what I've shared with you tonight. And if you want to check out that book I was talking about, is Habakkuk. And I took my text out of area 2, book chapter 2 and 3. And remember, he is your strength. He is your source of courage. He is your invisible army. And even though it seems like the solution or the answer may be delayed, wait for it. Be patient. It will come. It will. The answer will come. And I also want to encourage somebody out there that, I was talking to a parent the other day and she's spending so much money doing ABA and doing all kind of ABS, applied behavior analysis and therapies. And out of that, she's thinking about starting her own company. So there is no experience that's lost. Every experience is valuable. So whatever experiences you're gaining from standing in a gap or being a blessing, remember, God will use it and he will use it to bless somebody. I know at the end of the day, everything else that I'm learning. Interestingly, and there's going to be a story I'll share later, but I just got on a board of an organization that supports my son, and it was an interesting journey. And one day I'll share the story. It's still it's still in the making, but it's just very interesting how you walk a journey and God uses that to now help others. So they're like, you know what, we can use you to talk to other parents and so on and so forth. So I'm just excited that the skill set that I have, somebody can benefit from. And that's really what I want to tell parents out there or caregivers out there. So hopefully this has been a blessing to you some way or the other. Pat, thank you for joining inside. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one takeaway of what I shared that you will use or be a blessing to somebody else? You can unmute yourself.
Me?
Yes, Pat.
Um, I got labeled. So is that when you say as an ABA therapist, I only use one of these my clients as an example. I love that boy so much. When my boss took the boy out of my case, and I see him, I'm just like, oh my God. Because when that boy came into the program, the boy couldn't say a word,
Mm,
couldn't say a word, couldn't do nothing. They will cry all day, drop on the floor, throwing tantrum, kicking, properly destruction. I'm like, Lord, what am I going to do with this? This boy now, the boy can say a full sentence. Call
mm,
him right now, he will jump, hug, hug. He tells you everything. So I only use like a miracle. All the time. I think it's like my miracle just because when he came in, when they gave me, I'm like, can I be able to deal with this boy?
mm.
Right now, it's my favorite in that place. And everyone know I can't hide it. Sometimes I look at it, I fall in love. It's like I'm loving all over again. That's that's one thing I like. I always anytime I want to talk about my well, I use them as like an example and my experience. And every day when I wake up in the morning going to this job, I just like, oh my God. When I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But once I get myself ready, get into the center, just even though it's not with me, but just looking at his face, it just light up my day. I light
That's
it up.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. So what I'm hearing you say is that your own personal journey and what you've learned have now enabled you to apply it to your job where you're providing the care for these young people. And out of
Yeah.
that has come the miracle of this young boy who now is doing well. So for parents out there listening to us, there is hope for you and for your child. It's really, really important. And so, as I said, no experience is lost. Here's a mother whose child has, every time I see Michael, he's so tall now. Um, Amazing, brilliant young boy.
The
I knew him
solid.
when he was just a
Yeah.
baby. And, you
Yes.
as a mother went through your challenges and your journey, and now you're using that to be a blessing to others. And that's really how important it is for us to know that this journey of life that we're walking, it may seem like we're in walking day by day, going through one thing after the other, yet our journey is not lost in terms of the experiences that may be challenging. Those scars was what I call the battle scars, right? When you're fighting for supports and services entitlement, the basic things that you should be entitled to. That skill set of resiliency, and if you've heard me talk, that's one of my other favorite words is resiliency. Enables you to encourage someone who's just starting on a journey. And there may be a parent there who's just like, I don't know what to do. I am overwhelmed. You can now say to them, you can make it. You can do it. And I know, Pat, I've heard you say that a couple of times. You can do it. Um, I'm not going to pick on Ronke. I always pick on her every time. But good evening. Welcome for joining us, uh, for being here. So thank you so much for being here. We have a couple of upcoming events. Send my sidekick. Do you want to share some of the things that are coming up in the next few days?
Yes, I can. Well, bear with me one second. All right, so here are our calendar of events for the year, as I'm sure hopefully everybody is well familiar with. But we have a very exciting weekend this weekend. Our first event will be our social hour live. We got a lot of really great feedback from all of the families that joined us last year, about how great it is to have the opportunity to, meet with other caregivers and share and talk about your rose. So that's a positive thing that, is happening. Your thorn, which is a challenge, and a bud, which is something you're excited or looking forward to, and just being able to speak and share with people that really understand the journey that you're on. So we'll be having that this Saturday at 9:30 at the Brookwood Cafe in Hamilton. So definitely encourage you to scan the QR code on the screen and to register. And we'll also be having our special needs art club. So exciting. We had a lot of fun last year. We had all of our individuals had such a great time, and at the end had the opportunity to put their art together and show it in an exhibit. And I know that was really exciting and really proud moment for not just the kids, but also for the parents. So if you have an individual that loves art, interested in art, loves to work with their hands, or I think during our last Ask the Expert, we talked a lot about social skills. So if you're looking for an opportunity for your loved one to get the chance to work on their social skills, highly encourage you to register. Will be our early bird special actually closes tomorrow. So definitely encourage you to scan the QR code and take advantage of that. But if not, feel free to register up until Sunday. So that event will be from 2 to 4 p.m. So hopefully looking forward to seeing everybody there and having a really exciting weekend this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sana, for doing such a fantastic job of that. We are in February, we'll be opening up. We haven't finalized it yet, our grant program. So that's more to come, to be on the lookout for that. Remember, my goal is just to support families facing autism and other intellectual disabilities through our lifespan. And we do provide connections, which is what the Social Hour Live is, and also create connections and provide resources. So part of resource provision is really teaching you how to navigate the systems, supports, and services, and even just some things as simple as even calling up your insurance company and how to really communicate the needs that you have, talking to doctors and nurses and any and everyone in terms of navigating the healthcare system, and social systems and all the other things that you do. And always being the first to advocate. So those are things, that skill set that we teach. We also leverage some of the fundraising opportunities that we have to provide financial monetary grants to families who are underserved and having just have needs, just some basics, right? And help. And that's what my goal exists. So we were created by our Creator, Heavenly Father, to do these things. And for the 15 years and going into 16 years, this is what we've been doing. And I'm just proud of the work that we've continued to do because of generous supporters and donors and volunteers and prayer warriors who have been with us on this journey. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to our families. You all know who you are. I want you to know how proud we are of the fact that you stand so strong and you continue to press in and push and give the best to your loved one. So remember, they have potential. Every one of us has potential. It doesn't matter, what labeling somebody has given us. The best label we have is that they're a child of God and they are fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image. So remember that. And maybe that's also for you as a parent. Remember that you are valued and you are valuable. I always say that. And whenever you're doubting yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and say that I am valued and I'm valuable, because it's necessary to be reminded of those things. But we keep this short and sweet. We come in here and say that. And Sister Cheryl, thank you for coming here. I'm so excited to have you be a part of what God is doing. Your prayers does make a difference.
Thank you.
Prayers make a difference. Prayers make a difference. So I want to just acknowledge everyone that is on social media watching us. Like I said, just share the link, encourage someone, just let them know that they are valuable and valued. And at the end of the day, we just all have to keep pressing on. So on that note, I hope you can join us at the Social Hour Live if you're inclined to join us. If not, we'll be back next month and more of that. And of course, if you're interested in our program, please do check us out. You can get the information on our website as well. So on that note, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.
God
Good
bless. Have a good night.
night. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.